Welcome to LBTV. So, a video I think that needs doing, and one that I think is something that needs to be said. Now, since 2010, when Tom Hicks and George Gillette were run out the by FSG and John W. Henry, the last 10-12 years has been unbelievable, and I just think our owners get enough credit for what they've actually done for Liverpool Football Club. Now, I'm going to go through them 10 years, 12 years, and just say basically my feelings on it. Now, I've always been a supporter of FSG. Those that know me from Data to Believers, I was always sticking up for them. Doesn't mean I agree with everything that they have done, because I don't. I'm a massive advocate of people buying cheaper Liverpool shirts, because the prices of Liverpool shirts and the tracksuits and the caps and the jackets and all the merchandise are off the scale and ridiculously expensive for people that have got families and people that, let's not forget, we're going through real tough times in this country at the moment, in the United Kingdom, with the cost of living going up. And if you've got the choice between £100 for a Liverpool shirt or feeding your kids or doing your gas and electric and stuff like that, it's a no-brainer. So let's get that straight for first and foremost. On Liverbird TV, if anybody buys a kit for 20 quid off online, I couldn't give a monkeys, because the way I look at it is, it's been like that since I've been alive. Everybody always gets stuff cheaper. It's just the way it is, and I've got note against anybody that buys it from the club, and note against anyone that buys it from whoever, Tom down the road or something. I'm not arsed. So I've not always agreed with FSG in terms of the prices, but there's a reason. There's a reason behind their prices. Now, back in 2010, the club was in a complete mess. We were on the brink of administration, and I think Tom Hicks and George Gillette did everything they could to literally put us into that position. And there were a bunch of cowboys and all that crap about a spade going in the ground, we'll build Anfield, blah blah blah, all an absolute load of bollocks. I've read Pepe Reina's book. Read it. He tells you exactly how many lies came out of their mouths and how bad they were as owners. So Anfield itself, outdated, small. The area was shocking. The area around Anfield, I know that better than anybody. I lived there for 5 years. It's changed so much since FSG arrived. They've embraced the whole area. It's not just Anfield they've redeveloped. They've bought all the houses, all the brand new houses around the area. Everything getting done. The whole area just has had millions spent on it. That's not even getting started with the £150 million main stand that's pictured in this video that I'm doing. It is incredible. You can see it across the water at the Wirral. You can see it 10-15 miles away. Any part of the city you go to. I mean, I was cycling around the city all the time. When I first moved there, I just used the main stand as my compass. I used the Liverpool Radio City Tower to know when I was heading to the city centre, and I used Anfield to know when I was heading home. Two of them things you can see all the way around the city of Liverpool. So I'm just going to go through. Let's do it 2 seconds. I'm just going to go through. Having a pint in the sun, Tom. I hope you're all right, mate. Just checking the comments come through, and I was also checking the sound. Sounds working sound. So yeah, they built the £150 million main stand. And then they've broken, I think it's 4 transfer records, 1 world one, and then obviously Kepa beat the world one. And it's just like this. I actually don't think they could have done any more as owners than what they have done. I've actually just had a look at a piece that was wrote in 2019, and it said that what they've done is remarkable, and the fact that they've got Liverpool to 6 finals. Well, you can add another 2 to that since 2019, probably another 2 or 3. So I think we're on about 9 finals now. we are now have one of the best training grounds on the planet. I mean, I worked at the academy. I worked at Melwood and I worked at the academy, and the academy was massive. I used to, you know, do my job on that site, and then they went and extended it even bigger with the AXA training facility. And I have friends that work there, and they have told me it is absolutely out of this world. You know, it's got an indoor gymnasium, cinema, hotel, bedrooms. It's got 10 pitches, with the pitch actually being laid exactly the same as Anfield, so that it feels like they're playing on Anfield. It has the best facilities on the planet, paid for by FSG for 60 million. The main stand was 150 million. They're currently building the Anfield away end, which is going to cost another 60 million. Then if you look at it like this, I am proud of our owners, because I am a bit different. I'm not just a one club pony. I've actually been involved in football at non-league level, but also I listen to Talk Sport because I love the fans coming on. A lot of people don't agree with Talk Sport. I've worked at Anfield. Talk Sport are allowed in the building. They're not the Sun newspaper. A lot of people say they are. Rupert Murdoch and all that. Listen, Rupert Murdoch used to run Sky Sports, but you didn't see nobody stop watching the Sky Sports games, did you? So then somebody come back the other day and said, yeah, I stream it. Yeah, you didn't stream it in the 90s, mate. So that nonsense is nonsense. Anyway, long story short again, right, Talk Sport. And you want to hear some of the stories. I mean, Derby County's situation at the moment, Newcastle United actually begging for Saudi money after Mike Astley. You've got Bury went into meltdown, Maxfield Town meltdown. You know, clubs going out of existence. Liverpool wasn't too big of a club to not go out of business. You know, here's an example: Glasgow Rangers. They're a massive football club, 50,000 every game, right? 50 league titles. Relegated. Started as a new business, started as a new football club, had to start in League Two and worked their way all the way back up to the Premier. So Liverpool was not too big to be deducted points, not too big to go down, not too big to... Who knows what could have happened to Liverpool had John Henry and FSG not came in when they did. So it's all right to look back now, or for those that are screaming FSG out, which you're entitled to your opinion. This isn't an anti-FSG out brigade. This is just my point of view, my version of events. I've lived in Anfield, I've worked at Anfield, and I've seen what the place is like. I mean, the main stand, the amount of money that Liverpool make off that one stand, not just on match days, but you know, it's like a town centre on the concourses. It has weddings, functions. There's a full-time cleaning crew on there. Night shift, it never closes. It's constantly being used for weddings and birthdays and everything. It is an absolute cash cow, right? And you can say that's what these Yanks are about. Well, yeah, they've came in and they've bought Liverpool for 300 million quid. It's today, as we stand now, in June 2022, Liverpool would sell for 2 billion. 2 billion, right? So they've made Liverpool worth £1.7 billion more than what they were worth when they came in. They've put a mark on the Liverpool landscape with the main stand. The Anfield Road end, I've seen the plans for it, and literally you're gonna have live bands playing underneath the seats. It's gonna have like a lower floor where there'll be function rooms and you can have a pint and all that. It's going to have like glass windows where you'll be able to see out. It's going to have the Liver Bird on it. It's going to have the Anfield Road. It's going to look incredible. It's going to be more or less the main stand followed all the way around. We were quite lucky, me and Craig Farragut, when we were doing them videos of the Anfield Road end being built, that we actually got shown the plans by the construction workers. They were like, yeah, this is what's happening, this is happening. It was showing us all the foundations, showing us what's going to be this room and that room and this room and that room. That stand is going to be incredible, right? Incredible. So, pre-FSG, Anfield held 44,600 more or less with segregation, right? It was small, the area was minging. It was a bad area in terms of it just didn't have any money spent on it. It's quite a rough area, and everybody that's from Anfield on this knows exactly what I'm speaking about. It's not the same anymore. Now with FSG, it's going to go up to 61,000. The area's had hundreds of millions spent on the housing areas and stuff like that. I don't know whether the council's chipped in, but I know for a fact that FSG are planning on building a hotel next to the there's a bit of land, you know where the club shop is. That's another thing they bought, a new club shop. I know where the club shop is, across from the road. That area there is going to be a high-rise hotel for fans to stay at on match day. Even players have been told. So it's one of those. So we're just going in a great place. But what I'm more proud about is I've been listening to TalkSport with the Man United fans, and they're in meltdown. They're owned by Americans, just the same as we are, right? Even though they have spent more than us by absolute miles, Manchester United, and even though, this is amazing, Man United have spent £1 billion on players under the Glazers, and they want them out. And do you know why they want them out? It's all right having money. Look at Mashiri at Everton. He's blown £500 million to just avoid relegation on the last day of the season, right? It doesn't matter about having money. You've got to be able to know how to effectively run a business, and FSG are the elite of running businesses. And I say this all the time for those that used to be on Doubters and Believers. Watch the film Moneyball with Brad Pitt in it. It is absolutely unbelievable. FSG model their entire sports franchise on that film. And if you actually watch that film, John Henry's in it at the end, well, an actor playing John Henry, and he offers Brad Pitt the biggest salary for any director, any managing director ever offered in history, all because of the statistics of finding players that are either, you know, a Bosman free, i.e. Joel Matip, or you know, this player's not valued, nobody really wants him. Do you remember when we signed Andy Robertson, the amount of crap we took off the Man United fans, the Chelsea fans? We're signing this, I think it was Alex Sanchez, and Chelsea are signing this, and Liverpool go and sign a relegated left back who's now the best left back in the world, right? So there you go, another stat. Little players like Harvey Elliott, boom, goes and gets him off Fulham, tribunal fee. Then if you look at the way we conduct our business, one time we got it wrong, and that was with Virgil when we got done for it. But Liverpool now are straight in, straight out. No pissing about. No, you know, this, that, and the other. Even the Nabil Fekir deal. No, medical, done. Like Remy, the same, done. So it's like that. They don't mess about. And what they get, it's, you know, the FSG Out Brigade all say, well, yeah, well, we're only buying players because we're selling players. Well, exactly. That's Simon Jordan absolutely nailed it on TalkSport the other day. Why are people mocking Liverpool for being perfect, business-wise? They're perfect, right? You buy Sadio Mane, right, 5 years ago, as a 25-year-old, right? He scores you hundreds of goals, right? You win the Champions League, the World Club Cup, get to 3 Champions League finals, win the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Super Cup, and sell him for the same amount 5 years later at the age of 30, right? And then you look at this, Dominic Solanke, 1 game he played for us, 20 million. Brad Smith, 7 million. Jordan Ibe, 15 million, right? Marco Grujic, bought for 3.5, sold for 15 million. Taki Minamino, bought for 7 million, sold for 15 million, right? There's more. It'll come to my head in a minute. There's loads and loads more. It's just the business module, the way they conduct themselves, the way they have turned Liverpool. I mean, even that. Don't tell me it hasn't been absolutely amazing for the Anfield and Liverpool as a city to have the Eagles, Elton John, you know, these concerts that have been on over the summer. It's now made, FSG have made Anfield now an absolute iconic arena as well. So you're not just getting the football there, you're getting legends of music playing there. So it's just all for the transfer. So when we're buying Darwin Núñez, if it wasn't for FSG having the contacts around the world to get Elton John and to get the Eagles and to get the Rolling Stones, then how are we buying Darwin Núñez? How are we turning a profit every year, even during the pandemic? You know, the Super League. The Super League was a big mistake, a massive mistake at the wrong time as well. But again, FSG probably got talked into that, thinking, oh shit, Man City are jumping ship here. They're going to go. Oh, my job is to make sure Liverpool don't become Tom Hicks and George Gillette again. So what I like about that is they made a mistake. In business, you make mistakes, right? I can imagine that there's been a few businessmen that have lost a bit of money before they've made it, right? That was more of a moral mistake, not a financial one. But what I'm trying to say by it is, with that, all these Arsenal, Man City, all of them came out with a scripted letter, wrote for them to say, we're sorry, we won't do it again. John Henry is the only one that sat right in front of a camera and sat there and apologised and said, look, I made a mistake, I got it wrong. Since then, he's appointed the Spirit of Shankly on the board so they can speak on behalf of the fans. So he's put fans on the board, right? He's built a new stand. He's broken another couple of records in terms of what he's buying players for. So Darwin Núñez is brilliant. Thiago Alcantara, I mean, everybody was sort of giving him a little bit of shit the first few months. This FSG don't really like spending that kind of money on a 30-year-old. What a player Thiago Alcantara is. I also like the fact that Jurgen Klopp loves John Henry and FSG. People think he doesn't. People think that he works the miracles all by himself. Klopp and FSG sing from the same hymn sheet. It goes back to when Klopp was manager of Dortmund, and he says that Bayern Munich had bazookas and Dortmund had the bows and arrows. But that, you know, look at all the little nuggets that Klopp was finding at Dortmund, like Matt Hummels, like getting Lewandowski from Lech Poznan. You know, getting all these little future world stars. Aubameyang from the French second division. You know, Klopp's always been able to find gems. But that's why FSG hired Jurgen, because they had a meeting and they both believe in the same thing. Look, we will beat Man City off the pitch and we'll try and face them on it. Because if we can win the battle off the pitch, it gives us the tools to fund on the pitch. So the Eagles and the Rolling Stones and all that, it's all part of paying Mo Salah's next contract if we're going to give him one. But I'm not being funny. I could see FSG. Anybody else now would be panicking about Mo Salah. Any other set of owners would be panicking. They'd go, here, I'll give him the money. But if we go and give 500 grand a week to Mo Salah, then what do you think Alisson's going to want when he signs his next contract? What do you think Virgil's going to want when he signs his next contract? What do you think Fabinho's going to want? What do you think all of our top players are going to want? Because, again, I'll go back to Talk Sport. Simon Jordan used to own Crystal Palace. He said the problem with 500 grand a week is it makes 200 grand a week look inferior. So you've got average players on 10 million a year. That's not the way you run a business. You're just going to flood it in the red. Man City keep putting these statuses up at the moment about, look, everybody calls us a cash club. We're bringing in this money for Jesus. We're bringing this money in for flipping, you know, this, that, and look at us balancing it. But they keep saying 50 million we paid for Holland. Absolute load of bollocks, right? 50 million was the release fee for Holland. They paid multi millions to his dad and his agent, and the deal is 300 million for Haaland in terms of his 6 years that he's there, right? 300 million. They spent 100 million on Jack Grealish, and now they've just spent 42 million on Phillips. There'll be at one point this coming season that both of them are sat on the bench. They've got 142 million pounds worth of players in two players that will be on the bench. FSG won't do that. What they'll do is they've just gone to Nick Carvalho from Fulham. Peanuts. Watch him go and turn out to be an absolute world beater and end up being valued at 60, 70, 80 million in a few years. What is Andy Robertson worth now? We paid 7 million for him. What's Fabinho worth now? All right, we paid quite a bit of money for Fabinho, right? What's Jota? Everyone laughed at us when we bought Jota. So it's all right talking about the transfers are great that Klopp's bringing in. Klopp is bringing them in. But FSG have a team of people working around the clock to find these exact players, because that is the money ball. That is what they did in baseball. Watch the film. I keep telling people, you won't understand our owners until you watch that film. The budget that Moneyball successfully won the league title for in that film was something like, I think it was like $10 million or something like that. And the New York Yankees had spent $150 million on their budget. So what I'm saying to you is it's the statistically sort of like computerised program where they look at people's running stats, crossing ability. Here's an example, perfect example. Calvin Ramsey. Watch the YouTube video of that boy of his talents. He's playing in the SPL. He's not really made it yet. He hasn't even had a cap for Scotland. Where's he going? Where's he arrived? Liverpool. Watch the video. He has set up the most goals for any teenager in Europe. He's got one hell of a right foot, a wand of a right foot. He's up and down the flank. Liverpool have paid 8 million for him. For a lad that's not even played for Scotland yet, right? At senior level, right? What do you reckon he's going to be worth in, he's only 18, 2, 3 years, 4 years time? At least 20, 30, 40, 45, 50 million. Again, goes back to Moneyball. It goes to finding a nugget and turning it into a diamond. And that is what they do. And they don't get enough credit for it, and it gets on my nerves. I would rather, sitting here right now, support Liverpool as the underdog for the league title every season than buying success. Man City have just said that they have sold out all of their season tickets for this season. So much for Etihad. Again, another thing they tweeted recently. I have bumped into Manchester City fans en route to Wembley, en route to games that haven't even paid for their ticket. They got given it as part of work through a sponsor. Just because Manchester City has sold out their allocation doesn't mean they've actually charged anybody any money for it. It's money laundering at the fucking highest. They are cheats, and I would rather Liverpool did what they did and ran the business properly and not paid Salah £500,000 a week, because we're not Man City and we ain't got oil funds pumping through our club. Oil doesn't pump through Anfield. The fans do. The real fans do, the supporters, and everything that happens, like the Eagles playing there, like the Rolling Stones playing there. We do that to fund our football team. Yes, sometimes the fees are ridiculous. I personally think they should cap football now at 100 million max, even though that's ridiculous for a football player. I mean, people saying Calvin Phillips is disgraceful. He only went for 42 million. 42 million. For a lad that missed half a season and Leeds nearly got relegated, and the kicking off about him being 42 million. And don't get me started on Declan Rice being worth 200 million, because if he's worth 200 million pound, then Steven Gerrard would be worth $1 billion. It's just stupid. But that's what FSG are not. They're not stupid. Darwin Núñez, everybody's saying Liverpool's paid 100 million for him. No, they haven't. They've paid 60, right? They've already made for half of that back for Mane, so they've more or less levelled out 30 million. The rest is add-ons, and the add-ons will be Liverpool winning the league. The add-ons will be Liverpool winning the European Cup. So at the end of the day, you make that money back anyway, just based on the fact that you get paid tons of money for being in all them finals or winning the league. So I think now it is about time that if you are FSG out still, again, that's your right as a Liverpool fan, but there's got to be something wrong with you, because incredible football team, incredible manager, incredible transfer committee, incredible training ground, incredible stadium, incredible records of accounts every year. No business running in the red. No court appearances because we might go into administration, right? John Henry, I even love the fact that he won't even go into the changing room when Klopp's in there because he thinks he will respect. He even calls Klopp boss. I love all that. So I look at it like this, right? FSG could have done that Amazon thing as well, all or nothing, because they wanted to. Klopp said, no, if they do that, I'll walk. FSG, no problem, Jurgen, leave it. So they don't interfere, right? Look at Newcastle's owners already. They've changed the away kit into the Saudi Arabian national team. Newcastle next season are playing in the Saudi Arabia national team colours. There you go. Imagine having owners like that. Watch what happens now to Newcastle. That club might not have won a trophy since the 70s, but I had respect for Newcastle. 52,000 every week, right? And a proper football club with the Alan Shearers and all that. You know, that was a proper football club. Unfortunately now, you will get loads of tourist fans, as in people jumping on the fact they might be able to get Neymar. You'll get loads of people now that are just there for the, like Man City, you'll get the plastics now jumping on a great football club. So I actually am not really looking forward to Newcastle being one of those sort of clubs, because it's just not what I like. Again, Klopp doesn't like that. He doesn't like PSG, he doesn't like Chelsea, he doesn't like Man City, and he doesn't like, the Germans don't. The Germans can't stand it. If you look at Germany, the most hated team in Germany is Red Bull, and it's because they're owned by Red Bull. They're not owned by the supporters. Every other football club in Germany are owned by the fans, apart from Red Bull's Leipzig. So Leipzig are hated. So Germany hate it. Germany hates superstars, and they hate the rich, as in, you know, the rich that just ruin everything, the love for the game. So I just think that FSG deserves respect. Yes, and again, this is not I love FSG status video, because the way I look at it is, look at Anfield, look at the team we have. I mean, even now you could say 18 months ago, would you have been crapping yourself at the thought of Mane going, Firmino and Salah, the iconic Fab Three? Answer yourself this now. Are you really worried now? Now we've got Jota, now we've got Nunez, now we've got Diaz. Or are you excited about the next decade? Because I know I am. So all I'm saying in this video is, it's time now we all pull together as a fan base. If you still want to say FSG out, scream it from the rooftop, because I actually think now you're 99.9% outnumbered. It was about 80-20, probably dropped down to 70-30 with the Super League, or 50-50. But now it's 99.9%, because if you're in that 0.1%, we just nearly did the quadruple. We're losing out to a team by a couple of points or a point that is funded by a state, right? That don't have to worry about spending 100 million on a substitute. We'll never be able to do that. And do you know what? I don't ever want us to do that. So for me, it's FSG in, and I'm absolutely buzzing with our owners. You'll never walk alone.